When did 2Steel Girls form officially?
We did our first show in April 2011 at the Bluebird Cafe, and it was called Chick Singers Night.
Wow.
And we got up, and we had to play 5 songs, and that worked out perfect because we only had 5 songs that we had written at the time.
So we played all of our own music.
Every one of our songs, and it kind of went from there.
You come from Ohio. Where in Ohio?
We are from southeastern Ohio. It's a small town called Wellston. It's in a region with Kentucky and West Virginia. It's called a tri-state area.
Huh.
So when people hear that we're from Ohio, they think that we're Yankees and from the city, and we're actually from a really small hillbilly town in the hills of Ohio.
Nice,
So,
nice.
About 5,000 people.
5,000.
Total population.
Dang, that's really tiny.
Pretty small.
We moved to Nashville.
2003.
Was it 2003. So it's been about 11 years.
Wow.
So we've lived here a while. So we call it our home now. We actually live in Columbia, which is just south.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a small town, but
That's
it's
nice.
not.
It's a big town.
Bigger
Yeah,
than,
it's
bigger than
to us,
5,000.
it's a huge
big.
town.
Everyone in Columbia is like, oh, Columbia's so small. I hate Columbia. I was like, Columbia's pretty big. I was like, y'all have a movie theater
And a movie theater.
and a Walmart.
In 2012, you all had the opportunity to audition for The Voice.
Yeah, what happened, like I said, we had our first show at the Bluebird. We'd only done about 5 shows. We didn't perform out a lot because, well, we didn't have a lot of material and we didn't know what in the heck we were doing. There was a song that I had written called Chasing You, and we made this little video for it for like super cheap. And we put it up online, and within a few weeks of us posting that, we actually had the talent scouts for The Voice. They contacted us and asked us to do a private audition. So it's not something that we really sought out, which was kind of cool, but terrifying at the same time.
What did it feel like when CeeLo and Blake turned around?
It was
like,
incredible.
Oh, thank God.
Because we knew we were horrible.
Oh,
at that point.
We could hear we were off key at the beginning,
key.
so
We
we
were
were
so
like,
nervous.
oh
We were sounding
my
like
God.
goats. Our vibrato was everywhere, and we knew it. But it was one of those things where your nerves override anything you try to do. It was just like there was no way to control our nerves at that point. And so we were just like, oh my God. I mean, I just remember thinking, oh my God, someone actually turned around, and then it was like, boom, boom. So it was like CeeLo and Blake almost immediately.
And then you went to the battle round. And what song did you sing?
We sang Sin Wagon by the Dixie Chicks.
Yes. I love the Dixie Chicks.
We love Dixie Chicks, but that was so out of our league.
Yeah.
We had never sang a song like that. So.
And we're country, but we're not Dixie Chicks country.
It was still fun, but
I
you know
thought it was
what?
great. I thought y'all brought it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
But we didn't feel like we did. But we learned a lot from it, that's for sure. And you know what? You can't always win, but at least if you walk away learning something from it, it actually can be a win.
We've had other people on The Voice contact us. They're like, how are you doing all this stuff? You know, I got kicked off the same time you guys did. And, well, it's partially because we didn't choose to just sit there and waller in the, oh, we lost, kind of deal. It's like, okay, we had this really great experience. How can we use this experience to boost our career instead of people look at it as, oh, they got kicked off?
We could have looked at that as a failure because we didn't do our best, But we had to look at it as a positive thing and then take it from that and move on, and you just have to.
When you finished The Voice, you went into the studio and you started working on a new EP. And it was Trainwreck?
Well, we, to that point, really hadn't done too much yet. So we got to write with some great people and then get our first real experience being in the studio. So it was a lot of learning for us, trying to figure out what direction we wanted to take, because of course we were country, but we didn't really know what kind of country.
When you were finished, someone started a campaign.
Yeah.
And what was this campaign about?
It was so funny because we had seen the Pistol Annies on the Today Show, and I said, man, that would be so cool to be on the Today Show one day. And I just mentioned it on Facebook, and this girl named Sandra from Connecticut that we had never met said, would it be okay if I start a Facebook page for y'all called Get 2Steel Girls on the Today Show? And we're thinking, yeah. And honestly, we were thinking, that ain't never going to work.
I'm amazed it did.
And
yeah, we were too.
It was like almost 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the Today Show producers contacted us and said, we cannot ignore your posts. This has never happened before. Could you come and release your first single on the Today Show? And we were like, yes, we can.
Are you so I can pencil you into my schedule?
What does that feel like?
Oh, we start screaming. I mean,
we
we
were
were
in
like,
the middle
what?
of a music practice. She's like, oh my gosh, everyone shut up. I got to read this email.
what was it like? What time did you get there?
We got there in the evening.
Yeah.
It was pretty late.
We were
I don't
dying
know
to
what
see
you
New
said.
York, but it was
Yeah.
dark and it was rainy, and we were like, well, we got to go
We
somewhere.
couldn't
So
really see anything.
we found probably the only country bar in
Oh,
New
wow.
York. It was under our hotel, actually. We walked in there and there must have been 50 to 75 guys in
Wow.
suit and tie. And we were like, they had a mechanical bull and they were drinking and they were playing like music and stuff, and they had a they had a DJ and a turntable and all that. We were like, this is kind of cool, but what are the guys in suits? So we looked at our producer, he played drums with us on our trip, and he goes, these are all lawyers. They work downtown, so whenever they get done, they come in here, and they had the red plastic Solo cups
Yeah.
they were drinking out of. We were laughing because they had suits and red Solo cups. We were like, this is awesome. So really, we stood around and people watched for like 2 hours and
That's
just
awesome.
laughed. It was too
Yeah.
cool. So we went and we did the Today Show, and we had to fly straight out after.
Oh, wow.
We had like an hour before we had to leave town. So we went to a deli downtown after we sang, and just looked, and it was just like we people watched, and there were so many different cultures that we had never
Yeah.
really seen. Although Nashville is huge to us because we're from that small town, but it was incredible. The buildings we always thought Nashville buildings were big, and we figured New York was kind of like that. There's no comparison.
No
Yeah,
comparison.
like
Oh my goodness.
New York is like a whole different ball game.